Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Little
I'm sweaty.
little steamy. Yeah, we just can't get rid of the summer, can we?
Actually, yesterday was perfection, especially in the evening. It got down to like 75 with like a breeze. At night last night, we got down into the 50s. I stayed up really, really late just to enjoy
Just
the breeze coming into the
just
house.
enjoy the weather.
Yeah, I really did. Like, I really was like, I could go to bed, but I'm like, oh, it got down to 72 downstairs. We had the windows open and fan. It was lovely.
Oh, the beautiful weather at 2 a.m.
What you gotta do to get a nice breeze in the middle of summer?
Yeah, on the East
But
Coast, this is true.
the thing that stinks is down in my, I guess what we're calling the parlor room, that everyone will have seen on our last stitching glitch. So I was doing some things down there. We did find out there actually was a legitimate problem with our internet that Sunday has hopefully fixed. Um, I can only really because I don't have AC on the first floor. We actually might be fixing that soon. But because I don't have AC on the first floor, I can only really work in there when it's cool, which unfortunately is either at 5 in the morning before the house heats up or late at night when it cools down. I prefer late at night. I
Same,
don't miss the
same.
days of getting up at 5. Um,
Well, to me, mornings are like a race against the clock because all of a sudden things are going to start happening. It's going to get warm, or people are going to wake up and need your attention. So I've never loved the early morning, and I know lots of people that love to do that, and I'm like, more power to you. I mean, if like, but to me, I prefer everybody winds down, and then I have all the time in the world. Of course, then
yeah, you'd rather end your day with peace.
yeah, late night me is usually not concerned about tomorrow morning me. So
Well, and that's the only thing that probably keeps me from like working all night long is I'm just thinking like, oh, I'm probably gonna because I mean I used to work the night shift
mm-hmm.
and then I'd sleep till 1 p.m. and then I'd feel bad about the fact that I slept all day, like
Yeah.
so that's the only thing that like makes me go to bed. I want to play with my stuff, my quilts, and I want to organize stuff and put it away. And that being said, the saga of the green piece of furniture
Oh, yes.
with the drawers, I changed out the coffee grounds the other day. There did seem to be a noticeable difference in the odor. So I didn't check the one with the
The baking
baking
soda.
soda yet. But one thing I was thinking is because we were talking about the possibility of me like painting the inside, but I'm thinking maybe a round of coffee grounds, and that was what, probably a week it sat in there. Um,
Yeah, something like that.
maybe, yeah, maybe a round of coffee grounds followed by a round of like sunshine,
Hmm.
and then maybe some painting.
Yeah,
Might,
I genuinely think the sunshine has got to have, it's got to help in some way. I mean, because it does, it works wonders with textiles, and I just feel like, wood's a natural fiber. um, it's a natural substance. I just feel like sunshine cures a lot. But yeah, I also think sealing the insides will probably be good for what you intend to store in there. So
yeah, they also need like a really good cleaning. Like they're not dirty dirty, but they have a lot of like dust,
yeah,
and that really fine like dirt. Like it lived in a barn for a while, that's what
yeah,
it reminds me of. Like someone
yeah.
plucked it and didn't do these processes before they painted the outside of it. And it's just
Gotcha.
too cute not to try.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I love a cute piece of furniture, and yeah, if it's
Oh my
stinky,
God, and
you got to do what you got to do to get it unstinked.
I got it for such a deal too at an antique store. Like it was a local one and they showed it online, like super on sale. And I was at work when I still worked for Kohl's and I saw it and immediately messaged them and was like, I can come get that right after work. Can you save it for me? And I did. So, anywho,
Yeah.
you also may have noticed that I have new quilts behind me. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was time for a change. And this one here I'm sure you probably remember the day that I found that in the store and was like, what is this supposed to be? Is this supposed to be like a pink potted Gumby?
Yeah.
Like
It reminds me of like the car
flailing
dealership
arms
guys.
guy?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, it's funny. So someone had said like, oh, maybe there was supposed to be like a flower on top of it. And I mean, like that makes sense, but that the flower on top would be in the lattice like part of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, to me, it's clearly a cactus, and I feel like I mean, and I don't know how old that quilt is, or like what you would date it, but I always feel like whenever we see those cactus type designs, it's usually Mexican American War period. Um,
I haven't done any um deep diving except for what you see is the crosshatch, the lattice kind of work there. And the pot. Those are the same fabrics and it's a faded purple.
right. They
So,
look brown, but they should be purple, right?
mhm.
Gotcha. Is it Spanish American
So
War? Did I say Mexican American? It's Spanish American, right? Ah, that's where we need. I need the big chronology. The chronology of all the dates and things I need to know would probably circle my house twice.
I feel like maybe that is a good crowdsourcing endeavor for like AQSG is like important dates in quilt history.
Mm-hmm.
And we could actually
Mm-hmm.
make like a printed thing. Something to think in that right in the brain.
It would be an entire ream of paper, and you'd have to tape it all together.
No, I think we could probably get it on an 8.5 by 11.
Oh no, I need
You
it
know,
to be like big letters. Like,
well, you can of course add all your own stuff,
don't
but
you
I'm talking
remember
about
that in school? Didn't you ever have a teacher, like a history
yeah.
teacher, that had like a timeline taped like up? Yeah, that's what I need.
Clearly, even though I saw it every day, I didn't commit it to memory as much because I still like every time someone talks about the Civil War, oh my brain like turns into mush and I like can never remember the dates. Is it 1861 to 1865?
I think it's 64.
Hold, please. See, this is why.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I ask every time I talk about anything that kind of touches on the Civil War more than
Oh my
just.
God, I was right.
Oh, you're right. It is 1865.
It's April 12th, 1861 to April 9th, 1865. Woo! I have finally committed it to possible memory.
Cake hasn't. Well, at least I got 1860 something, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're getting closer. So yeah, every time like people talk about those dates, I'm always like, uh, uh. So yeah, and I even have a spot like right here in front of me on the wall. I think we have a new project we've just given ourselves
I think
because we need another one, like a hole in the head.
I think
So
so.
let's move on to some announcements.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So I'm just trying to think. So, um, you are seeing this video because Stephanie is out of the country.
I'm not really here. I'm in the UK.
No, that jerk, yeah, jerk is having fun on the other side of the world. So, one
It's not
reminder
exactly.
here.
Just across the ocean.
Oh yeah, just across the ocean. If you don't bring me presents, you're in the world of trouble. I better call Mama Cake there. So because of this, we have a break in our book talk schedule. So we will have gone through chapter 6 and 7 and left 8 to talk about when Stephanie gets back. So just to remind you, you had time to catch up while she's gone. But if you're on track for when she is back, our next book talk night is August 12th, and that's the night where we'll discuss chapter 8, which is page 174 to the end. If you want to go into reading the notes and acknowledgments and things, that's your choice. So it's 174 to the end. And we'll discuss that and anything else extra that we may have had to leave till then. So reminder for that. We, at this particular moment in time, have not selected the next book yet. Um, but there's time for that because we won't start another book till October 1st.
Oh wow,
So,
we're gonna have a big break, aren't we?
yeah. So, but don't worry, we have
Oh, we have
things.
lots of things,
We have
but we're
things.
not going to be reading for a minute.
Yeah. So, so I don't think I need any sound. Yeah, let me share my screen here. All right, we seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Can you
so
zoom in a little bit? It's kind of small.
yeah. So it's time to talk about August. This is a busy schedule. Only because there's just a lot of different things happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Steph is away. There's going to be 2 recorded videos in a row. So remember that when they're recorded, we drop them early for you guys at 2 p.m. Eastern. We have 2 stitch and glitches still, another 2 p.m. Eastern. Uh, we've got our last Book Talk Tuesday night. After that, we have our interview with the lovely Lori Labar. And then this will be a freebie night. And then Steph, after she gets back, goes back to her Cake TV schedule as usual. Whew, it's a lot. That was a lot. And today we're going to look at an exhibit. And it's actually, we're getting to this one sooner rather than later. This show came down, I just took it down recently. 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, and I don't
So
know
this was
anything about this one. So this is from your permanent collection at New England Quilt Museum, right?
yes, ma'am. And this was put together by collections manager Laura Lane, and it's called Showing Off.
Got a little.
And you get to tell us about it. Yeah, it's a little burnt.
Okay, I have my bifocals on. In earlier times, quilts were primarily made for warmth on the bed, yet some quilters made special quilts that showed off their fine needlework skills. Some of these special quilts were displayed on the bed only when company was coming and have survived in good condition. They were treasured by the family and passed down to later generations. In Victorian times, quilters made crazy quilts for decoration and to show off the maker's needlework skills. Ladies ordered grab bags of fancy fabrics from mills to use along with fabric scraps, souvenir silk scarves, and ribbons. The quilters added fine hand stitches to complete the quilt. In the last quarter of the 19th century, some women made quilts with thousands of pieces and bragged about it. Quilt historian Sue Reich found many newspaper articles about women who had made quilts with many pieces, and the articles always mentioned the number of pieces. It was a competition to make the quilt with the most pieces. Today, some women make competition quilts made to compete for ribbons and awards. These quilts were often so heavily quilted they are neither soft nor warm. They do show off the best work of the quilt artist. The techniques may have changed, but some quilters still make quilts to show off their skills. In this exhibit, we present some examples from our museum collection from Laura Lane, collections manager. Yeah, and I just held up.
And what was the book you just held up?
Sue Reich's book is called Quilting News of Yesteryear, 1,000 Pieces and Counting. And so she's did all this research to find all these newspaper articles, and some of them are hilarious. It's like little ads, little mentions, little human interest pieces, and some of them are op-eds and stuff, and it's just all of these, like, there were a lot of slow news stories back, slow news days back in the day. So you get this little old lady made a quilt with 100,000 pieces in it. So we don't care so much about those things anymore in the newspapers.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of this one?
Oh, wow. Oh, this is interesting.
There's a lot going on in here. And you know what's so funny? When I saw this piece up here, there's 4 of them. Mm-hmm. The first thing I thought of was that was an independent hog.
It does. It looks like a pig or a cow or something. It just looks like livestock. And then
Yeah.
these
And
ladies.
let me remind everyone from the original Mary Fawn's Quilt Nerd days that Stephanie had made an ode to Harriet and turned it into a postcard. Yeah, that sits on my desk.
I love an odd animal.
Well, like, you know what else is interesting? Like, they have three eyes. They
Yes,
have
and they have
animals for their nose.
right. Yeah. This is
And you know
very
what's funny
interesting.
is in the synopsis there. Um, she's describing, as we've always heard from our quilt bestie Barb Garrett, just for pretty,
Hmm.
showing off quilts or the just for pretty quilts. So
I'm very curious. Who is
this is
this?
by Theresa May.
Okay.
Theresa May, which I feel like we know that name. I feel like we've
Yeah,
looked at
I
work
know we've
from
looked at something she's made before.
San Jose, California. This is Twins, 1992. Cotton, velvet, twill, satin, moire.
Hmm.
Am I saying that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Um, is that last word really lame,
No,
or
it's
is it something else?
lame.
Okay. I feel like there should be like a foot on the E.
Yeah, there should.
Um, ah, machine applique tied with painting, embroidery, and embellishment. The artist explains that this quilt illustrates that no two people, even identical twins, are exactly alike. There are subtle differences between the two figures, with the common feature being a third eye. This eye represents intuition, which connects all people to each other. May is a leader in the creation and development of art quilting. She has received many awards for her work, including the Most Innovative Use of Medium in Quilt National 85 and the Quilts Japan Prize in Quilt National 95. In her 1969 quilt, Teresa was selected by the Alliance for American Quilts, the American Quilt Study Group, the International Quilt Association, and the National Quilting Association as one of the 100 best American quilts of the 20th century.
Very cool.
Wow.
And so,
And she gifted it to the museum.
yeah, the Alliance for American Quilts is now the Quilt Alliance. So
I
that
figured.
was that was their original name.
I'm wondering if this placard is that old. That they reuse placards, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I took some video here.
Oh, there's like sequins and things. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, see like the like the
Yeah.
fake gems up top. That's why I took the videos. I wasn't getting like kind of the sheen of some things.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, the video's a little
it's very
jumpy on our end, but
Oh, I hope my internet's gonna like stay normal. I'll put this video too on our social media. And make a little
yeah, we can make a reel of it.
thing out of it. Yeah. But of course I also have photo. But yeah, see there's like it's like puff paint.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, for like the little embellishments.
Yeah, there's just
Interesting.
all kinds of stuff. And it's interesting, even the hair to me is like eyeballs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's like all these little embellishments.
Yeah, there was really like no way to possibly capture everything
Oh, I know.
with
These kind of quilts are so
pictures.
fascinating to look at because you can look at them for a long time, and you see
Yeah, so you've
something
got
different every time. Different things will pop out to you.
so you got the gems, you
Yeah, I
got the
see what she's done.
buttons, beading, there's
Hmm.
beading here, more puff paints. Then you got, the fancier buttons over here, more beading.
Yeah, this is
But
this
yeah,
quilt's wild.
if we've got the other if we've got that other hog that's Bets, then like who's this?
I don't know. This one to me looks more like a cow, but um,
Okay. So,
I mean, they're fantastic. I love it. I just,
but like what are we gonna name this cutie?
oh, Genevieve, of course.
Oh, wow, you just had that waiting.
I don't know. Sometimes it names itself. But yeah, this is Theresa May is like a more is more kind of artist, and I'm here for it. I love it.
I even noticed safety pins here.
Oh yeah, I see those now. I didn't notice that at first. Oh my goodness, so much to look at with this quilt. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I know this isn't everybody's jam. You know, I know lots of people like a little bit more like calmness and like um, not minimalist necessarily, but like symmetry and those kind of things. But this, I love this kind of stuff. It's so wild.
Yeah, like look, you got this cool bird up here,
Hmm.
and then this like dog lizardy looking thing here.
Yeah, I mean
This
there's
twin has a house. This twin has a tree.
and that I don't know if it's supposed to be the moon or the sun in the background there. I guess it's probably the moon. Maybe it's got like lame teeth. Like, oh, why? Why? Is it? It looks evil. I love it. um,
Isn't it just delightful?
mhm. Yeah, and just the look of some of the animals and the embellishments and stuff. I kind of, I mean, I feel like there's references to some global textile um, techniques, etc. That,
Mhm.
I don't know if that's her intent, like, or if it's, having seen um, this look and feel in other types of textiles that she's maybe kind of riffing on that. I don't know.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I got the border there too.
Wow.
More buttons.
More is more. I love it. Oh,
This
and
was
this
amazing.
is lovely. So this was the one that was at the top of the Maine exhibit placard, right?
Mm-hmm. And
And
I did get some close-ups of some blocks, but not all of them.
okay, this to me is also a more is more, but you have like a lot of symmetry here. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you have more white space, so it's got a different feel to it. This is also really amazing. I have to say, Laura, I always hear Laura, and I think I've met her one time, but she always, Pam Weeks, our friend Pam Weeks, always speaks very highly of her, like her eye. She's just got this amazing eye, and I guess amazing memory of what's in the collection without, I mean, maybe she pores over the collection software a lot being the collections manager, but I feel like everyone says like she knows what's in there and she has this vision and she goes and she pulls the quilts and puts them together and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So if you would like to read this one.
So unfortunately, this is a maker unknown from New York. Album Summer Spread circa 1850. Cotton hand appliqued and embroidered. By the mid 19th century, album quilt designs and their popularity had spread from the Baltimore area to the northern states. Album quilts were sometimes produced as group projects to commemorate a person's life or a special event, and often contained the signatures of their makers. Each of the 20 blocks in this quilt is unique and expertly crafted. The construction of the quilt is also unique because it is rectangular and wider than it is long. The setting of the blocks in this quilt is in double concentric circles, and the yellow house block is very similar to another album quilt made in New York and pictured in New York Beauties by Atkins and Tepper. In fact, another similar quilt was recently sold at auction. Images of this quilt have been published in The American Quilt, A History of Cloth and Comfort by Roderick Karakov, and the Quilt Engagement Calendar of 1980. And it was a gift of the Binney family.
Hmm.
So, does the Binney family, the New England Quilt Museum has a number of Binney family quilts, right? Because,
Yeah, and I don't know all the history related to them, but they're obviously like a major donor because Pam Weeks is the
yes,
Binney
she's
family
Binney family
curator.
curator. Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe they had made an endowment and maybe a gift of quilts.
Mhm.
This one's really cool.
Look at that bird. It's
Yeah, and look
really
at
cool.
the
It's one of
strawberries.
those it's one of those ones that I like. Unfortunately, this particular gallery is small because it has that big flat board in it to lay a quilt on, and then it also has a bed, an antique bed that lives in there. So when I say small, what I mean is you can't put a bench in there. which kind of stinks because this is a quilt that is bench worthy
Yeah, you'd sit in front of it
for
and look at it.
you
Yeah.
to sit. It actually reminds me, you're gonna have to, were we in the Newark Museum that had the comfortable couches in the galleries?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. Maybe.
I think it was Newark because we were going through fast
Hmm.
because we only had like a limited amount of time, but it had to be the Newark. Um, and we like turn this corner and we're in like a modern wing and there's comfortable couches and I was like, "Oh my God, I've been dying for a place that is comfortable couches." Because even the benches, you're just like, something where you could get comfortable and really like, immerse yourself in what's in the room.
Hmm.
Like look at the detail of this applique, like this
Hmm.
fence.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Or
and I
the
guess
brickwork.
the little cross part is where the gate. It's very cool. Very
So
cool.
it's interesting. I when it
And
comes to like like needlework samplers, I am always attracted to the ones that have buildings on them.
mm-hmm. Well,
I don't
because
know
they're
why, but
typically documenting a particular building.
I mean, I don't know if that's why I'm interested in them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just, some people really go after like the biblical scenes and other people
Mm-hmm.
go after, other things. And like, I always seem to like the ones with buildings. And like this building, hot damn.
All the brickwork, I'm guessing that those white lines, those are embroidery stitches. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, because you can see right here where there's one falling out.
Oh, gotcha.
What else were you gonna say?
Is it?
Oh, you were gonna say something else before I mentioned that I like houses.
Oh, I was just gonna ask about that is indeed embroidery. I assumed it was.
Look at this guy.
Ah, look at him.
He's riding off. He's going, "Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?" And
And
there's something written on his like thingy.
yeah, and I'm curious to know, like, where is that coming from? Like, is that just behind him? Because I'm like, it's not like he's not carrying like a staff or anything that would have a banner coming from it. Is it like tied around his neck and it's
I wonder, well, because it's got writing, half me wonders if it's supposed to be like something he's
yeah, that
yelling.
too. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering too. Very interesting.
What? Okay. I don't know that the picture is gonna stay fantastical here, but
Yeah, I can't even begin because it's ink, right? Oh gosh, and it looks like it goes all the way around.
this looks like it says hand to the or head to the something where this looks like an eye. Hmm. I wonder if Laura knows what that says. But like, look at his bushy, like, man's gotta do pluck his eyebrows. But like, um, look at that detail.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that red and yellow is not actually part of that red streaming thing, but that's maybe
No, I
part of his
think this is
hat.
like feathers.
Mm-hmm, on
Yeah.
his hat, yeah.
And you know
Look at
what's funny
his
is
little epaulets.
his face looks pretty darn good, and faces are hard.
Indeed.
Like even his hand looks pretty good. Like the detail on the saddle,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. And like there's a lot going on this border. Even just, can you imagine just all this freaking applique?
Yeah. Well, and getting that all like perfectly, you had to have marked the circle to get that.
Are these some wings that weren't finished?
Oh. Or
Oh, look,
has the fabric been like deteriorated and been pulled off?
yeah, I don't know. All you see are the stitches.
Hmm. What I love about the border is that it's like every kind of fruit imaginable. And I feel like there might have been a vegetable over on the other side. You got grapes and plums and pears and strawberries all growing off of the same vine. I love that.
That is that is some crazy grafting going on there.
No, I love that. I think that's great. Oh, this is very pretty.
I think that's
Oh, is
supposed to
it
be
a
like
little
a hummingbird.
hummingbird? Oh, that's so sweet. Oh gosh, look at it. This is very cool quilt. I really, really like this. I could see this on my bed.
Yeah, the
Mm.
details. Well, then you know what? You go ahead and you recreate it.
Or I could just slip in there when Laura's not looking. Run off.
Yeah, here's some big stuffed applique
Oh wow. Yeah.
for Rose, and then like look at this butterfly.
Yeah. So the maker has really used embroidery stitches to her, to the benefit of decoration here because, um, I mean, she's truly made that butterfly look like. I mean, it's very embellished. I guess I.
Yeah, and then I will let's see.
And the peacock or peahen.
Yeah. Look at how lovely. This was probably one of or the my favorite in the room.
And is it a summer spread like a I can't
Yeah,
remember now.
no
Yeah,
quilting.
so there's
Yeah.
no okay.
Mm-hmm. And then here are the
Ooh,
drawers
look at
where,
this
again,
beauty.
yeah, I was to say, bear with me because there's plexiglass on top. So sometimes that's, we don't get the best, but we get this. And then there's also a photo of like what the whole thing looks whole. These are just tiny, but like, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really striking.
And yes, the photo is not amazing. It's just printed on paper.
Right, the side, the border is cut, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading that correctly, right? That's like tissue paper behind all these points, right?
I believe so.
Wow.
So this is thousands of pyramids, circa 1920. It's silk. Description when
Silk.
the 110 4 and 1 inch, 1/2 inch blocks are each composed of 102-inch across the base triangles. Do the math. The title of the quilt is not wrong. There are 11,000 triangles in this quilt. The piece blocks alternate with 90 plain off-white silk blocks. The way the blocks are arranged is a point, and this set results in a lovely jagged edge, which here is filled with lace. Oh, it's lace.
Oh,
Hold
so
on, let me
that's
go
like
back.
a flounce kind of thing. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's lace. Yeah, like I said, this picture is printed on paper, so it doesn't like.
Oh, okay. See, I kind of just assumed that was like they had kind of put some paper behind it to photo as they photograph it, but I could see now. Yeah, it's got a flounce like.
Mm-hmm.
I would be so very curious to see how that's stitched on. Because it doesn't. It looks like it's stitched behind, like maybe would have been the straight edge behind those points. I could be wrong about that too,
Mm-hmm.
but wow. I don't necessarily love flounces and ruffles, but sometimes you got to give props to the maker. they snuck that in there.
Yeah,
Now I would not have
I
guessed
kind
this
of
was
wish.
silk just from the picture, but
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. I kind of wish they'd folded it in such a way that you could see some of the lace.
yeah.
Like if you could have seen like part of the edge. But yeah, no, I would now also not have thought silk, but now that I'm like looking at it,
Yeah, you can see definitely those stripes. Now that we're looking closely, I could see those as being like neckties or skirt, or, dress fabrics.
yeah, I can definitely tell a bit of a sheen to things.
Wow.
Hmm.
And all that white silk. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah. Hmm. Oh,
And you have that one blue one right there in the middle.
well, look right here. Look what we got here.
The Centennial Green.
Um, I really love scrappy quilts like this that just have a menagerie, and this is pretty teeny tiny. But
Yeah.
like all of these fantastic. I really like this print right here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, anything that's like a shirting. And I'm just like, swoon.
Yeah, I see a fabric there kind of in the middle. It's like right above the one that you had said you really love. Yeah. That looks like it's from a fabric I have, a quilt top that looks very similar to that. This like rust and brown, and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
very cool.
There's the
Oh wow.
picture of it
Oh
whole.
wow. Okay, in context, those are tiny squares. Oh my goodness. That's wild.
Yeah.
So
Postage stamp quilt maker
1880.
Hulda.
Hulda?
Hulda
No.
DeFogarty, Connecticut. Circa 1880. 66 by 74 cotton, hand piece, hand quilted, machine applique binding, composed of 6,764 3/4 inch squares. This quilt is a document of a wide array of fabrics available to quilters in the third quarter of the 19th century. Included are madder, shirting, double pink, double green, double green, double green. I haven't heard anyone refer to like that as double green, perhaps. Interesting. I didn't even see double green. Interesting. Lancaster blue,
Which is double blue.
double blue, and half mourning prints.
Morning and half morning.
This quilt was made by Hulda de Fogarty, sister of Eleanor de Fogarty Skeels, for her nephew, Irving D. Skeels, at the time of his marriage to Mary O'Connell in Oswego, New York, about 1880. The quilt was passed on to their son, Irving T. Skeels, and his wife, Geraldine, when they married around 1920. In 1967, this quilt was given to Marguerite Merrick Gies,
I would say it's
great great
Geis.
Dice. Oh. Great great granddaughter of Eleanor de Fogarty Skeels by Marion and Madeline Skeels, sisters of Irving T. Skeels. This is quite a provenance. Marguerite Geis then passed this quilt on to her oldest daughter, Mary Elizabeth Geis, donor of the quilt. Whew.
But you know, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that
They
is,
have the provenance of this quilt. And that is so
yeah,
rare. So very rare.
yeah.
You know,
So let's see.
even quilts that stayed in the family, I think there's always so much question about like exactly who made it if if it doesn't have like initials or signature or something. It's always like, oh, well, great great grandmother, but it could have been her sister, but it might have also been her aunt or her mother. You know.
Yeah, so there must be the green must be somewhere else because I was gonna say like I didn't see any like green.
Yeah,
Uh, um,
I can't quite I mean the double pinks and the double blues, I can picture those in my mind. I can't quite picture what a double green looks like, but
I mean, I'm wondering it's if that's just what they're calling that stereotypical green we see in a lot of Pennsylvania quilts.
yeah, the I
But
think there's an
it's
Eli
weird just
Walker.
because I feel like a lot of the times the print on the green is a yellow. Like the flower is like a yellow.
Yeah, and that's that Eli Walker print. I think that we see a lot that I'm thinking of, and I don't. That's kind of more of like a deep hunter green. It's almost black. It's so dark. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if that's considered double. I personally wouldn't look at like I wouldn't look at that and say, oh, that must be a double green. But I still struggle so much with fabric identification that um, you could fool me very easily.
You know that reminds me. Um, there's been discussion about Pam teaching a fabric dating class.
I need it. I will be Pam's remedial student.
And then we have this lovely lady.
Oh, I love that. Oh, those
I really like
diamonds.
the mixture of the stars with the diamonds.
Those pink diamonds are gorgeous. I mean, what a great border.
And then these like how cute is this little quilting motif of like 5 circles?
Oh, and I wonder, is that like teacup quilting, or what do they call it? Yeah, teacup quilting or wine glass quilting, where they're
I was
just
saying,
using.
it's got to be, that circle's got to be pretty small.
Is it okay? Well, I mean, it still could be like
I
that
wonder,
that concept. They're just tracing around what they have that's round, a jelly glass or some sort of little jar or something.
mm-hmm. And there it is whole.
Oh my goodness! And now look what she's done. I mean, it's like two, well, it's three stripes, and then you got the border. Wow.
But look, it gets a little like, I feel like it's not as like noticeable the further down you go. It's really noticeable up here, but
Yeah. But I still think, I mean, you back up all the way. You see, it's definitely like a lighter, the pinks, the reds are there in the center, and then you've got those darker
mhm.
colors on the outside. I mean, what, these quilters of yore, I think it's so easy to dismiss them as like, just farm women who are just making quilts to put on the beds, and they got to make their dowry and
Imagine
all that stuff. These women were like, they had a vision, and some of them, I mean, just like today, people sometimes don't execute well, but some of these women had like incredible vision and incredible execution skills, given that they did not have design walls and all
the
that.
modern tools.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Imagine,
go ahead.
imagine what accomplished if they'd had the time to do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, I think about something like this, and I mean, this could have been made by somebody who was, wealthier, might have household help, and is has more time on her hands. But if you can imagine, the average woman, even if she has family members or some sort of like, minimal household help, she still doesn't have like all the time in the world, and she still doesn't have like necessarily, even living in a large house, you don't necessarily have like space to lay things out. And this is something like this has to be like charted out, and there's mathematics that goes in. I mean, these women were not using a pattern that had been created with, cut this many and square them up at this size, and then they were looking at either a picture of a pattern in a newspaper or a sample that a friend had given them, or they're just looking at somebody else's quilt and going like, okay, all right, yeah. So I mean, the skills that these women are showing with pieces like this are just,
Mm-hmm.
it's a document.
Yeah.
It's proof
Yeah,
that these
and why
women
don't
could do math and had like a really good eye. So
well, you tell us about this document.
okay. So miniature Lemoyne stars dated 1850. Okay, this is earlier than I would have guessed. 72 by 79 cotton, hand pieced, hand quilted. The tiny Lemoyne stars on this quilt are surrounded on three sides by a border of diamonds. The quilt contains an array of fabrics from the mid 19th century, including an assortment of turkey reds, Prussian blues, and double pinks. Double pinks in particular were popular during the 19th century. Those printed in the 1840s contain more white than those printed 20 years later that have a more intense pink color. This quilt has beautiful outline quilting and interlocking quilt designs with hanging diamonds. Gift of chandelier.
Hmm? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. I did get a close up of something.
So, I mean, like, about how big are they? I mean, are they like,
I want to say it's probably like a 4-inch block.
okay.
And I didn't realize at first that the diamonds are appliqued on and not pieced. I thought
Oh,
they were
are
pieced.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see that. Like, Florence Pito, she did a lot of surprising things with applique. Things in my opinion are like, it would have been easier to just piece that, like, and I love applique and I hate piecing, and if you hear me saying that, like, oh, those are gorgeous, just gorgeous.
Yeah, this is a pretty one. And we got some baby back. baskets.
Oh, those are fabulous. Look at that buffalo plaid one in the middle.
Love me some plaid.
Oh, those are gorgeous. And that bright red, is that a turkey red or I mean, I don't know. Sometimes computer resolution can
Yeah,
fool
I
you, but
mean, my instinct is yes, but
turkey red I feel like is one that I think I can pick out as long as I'm not being fooled by something in the 20th century. Um, because it's like a very clear, bright, almost cool red sort of. It's got like a it would make a fantastic lipstick. So I always look when I see turkey red, like I want nail polish and lipstick that color because it's very classic looking
that
color.
would be so funny. You could definitely tell if like a makeup scientist or something was into like quilt history if they named it turkey red.
Yeah, well, I mean, somebody maybe a Modern Quilt Guild or American Quilt Study Group or somebody will hook up with a makeup, because makeup places people like, especially the indies, they will do those like
Collab.
so and so and Barbie collab or so and so and Care Bears collab. Well, why couldn't we have a so and so and Quilts collab? You could have turkey red, you could have poison green, you could have double pink.
Get on that. Go pitch it.
Well, for a person who literally wears no makeup unless forced, I am probably not the greatest ambassador of that.
Well, here she is in all her glory.
That is fabulous. I love that. Very cool.
So this is miniature basket quilt, unknown, possibly made in Maine, circa 1885. Cottons, hand pieced, hand quilted. The unknown maker of this quilt used a wide variety of period fabrics, including indigos, morning prints, and double pinks. There are 306 hand pieced 3.5-inch baskets in this quilt, which includes over 275 different fabrics. A careful examination reveals that many of the small pieces are pieced. It's possible that the maker had access to cuttings from a textile mill. At the time this quilt was made, there were textile mills in Saco, Bidford, Auburn, Lewiston, and other Maine towns. The maple leaf quilted in the red. I didn't even notice that. We'll have to
Oh,
look. The maple leaf quilted blah, 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 in the red alternate block suggests the maker may have been Canadian. In the 1860s, a rail line was completed connecting Portland, Maine to Montreal. Many workers came on the trains to work in the Maine textile mills. Now, sadly,
interesting.
this doesn't mention if it's the red is a turkey red or not. I was hoping it would, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I was hoping too when you started reading.
Yeah, so like
But that's interesting.
upon
Now,
first look, I don't oh
now,
oh I vaguely see it. Yeah.
oh yeah. Now, I feel like there's enough evidence here to say like, okay, if it's possibly a Maine quilt, it could have been a Canadian. But is it fair to assume that anything with a maple leaf is Canadian?
Well,
I,
especially too because there's maple leaves are New England a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like because we've got lots of maples in the U.S. and although the maple leaf is very Canadian, just like I guess
Well,
eagles are very.
I'm guessing that they're probably coming to that possible conclusion because it's red and maple leaf.
Well, right. I wasn't
Not
specifically saying this quote because I feel like what you just read, the fact that there's this rail line and the mills and I feel like there's enough sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Corroborating evidence that it could potentially be. But I feel like I often see like any kind of quilt that has maple leaves on it and is potentially like the northern part of the United States. I mean, I think I've seen some quilts that were like Wisconsin, Minnesota, and it's like, well, could be Canadian. There's this guy that looks like a maple leaf. I'm like, is that fair? Is that fair to always assume that? Maybe in those states it is because they are bordering Canada. I don't know.
yeah.
I think it is a fair assumption in this. I'm just being contrarian. Oh, that's a cool
Oh my
fabric.
God. Yeah, I think
I
this is
like
like my
that one.
favorite.
Oh yeah, you could see the points of the maple leaf a little better here.
I like that fabric too.
Yeah, those are some unique fabrics. Now, it wasn't clear to me like are there like it's I think the description said there was a certain number of fabrics in this quilt, but do they repeat? Did you get that gist? Like that it's like a charm quilt, like there is no repeating patterns, or just that there's that many different
It's
patterns in it?
275, so maybe I don't, let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, what does it say?
There's over 275 different fabrics.
Oh, but there's 300 and 306.
Oh, there you
So
go. Hand pieced
there's
baskets.
it sounds like there's maybe a handful of repeats. Interesting.
A lot. We
Oh
have
my
this.
goodness, look at this one. Now
This quilt is modern.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm assuming this one's contemporary. But wow, look at that. Okay, and so this is in the nook of the museum that has the bed. And the I see the chest
Yeah,
of
so
drawers
here are
there,
the
yeah.
drawers we were just looking at here, and then the bed here. Yeah, it's not always one of my favorite places just because you can't get like a full
Yeah,
shot of everything.
it's a small nook of a gallery. Oh, that one's very cool. Oh, there's a lot here.
Hmm. It's all yours.
Okay, you're gonna have to scroll up a little bit so that I can see the top part
Oh,
of it.
sorry, did I lose?
All right, so this is members of the Cocheco Quilt Guild. Cocheco was one of the mills.
A mill.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Members of the Cocheco Quilt Guild, Dover, New Hampshire, New England album, 1993. Cotton, hand and machine pieced, hand appliqued and quilted. 20 blocks and the border on this quilt celebrate the beauty of New England through the 4 seasons. The blocks and the 4 borders depict native flora and fauna. There are several familiar landscapes, including the Old Man of the Mountain, the Cog Railway that climbs Mount Washington, and the state seals of Maine and New Hampshire. In 1993, Ellie Sienkiewicz taught several workshops sponsored by the Guild. Ellie, of course, is a great album quilter and teacher. Faye Labonaris and Susan Savory, designed the quilt, obviously influenced by the elaborate applique style of Sienkiewicz. A group of Labonaris' students who call themselves the Good Ladies of Baltimore North and other members of the guild made the quilt. The quilt was published in Baltimore Album Revival by Ellie Sienkiewicz. Makers include Inez DeMambro.
No, you don't have to. I was
Okay.
you don't have to read all that part.
There's a lot of people's names there, but do we?
I was just gonna say, like,
Barbara
is there
Marilyn
any other?
Follansbee, Jean Smart, Joanne Joyford, Rebecca Metzger, Patricia. I see names that kind of look familiar, but I don't see any. Nobody's popping out that like I know personally. So, and it was a gift to the Cocheco Quilt Guild. Yeah, not to divert ourselves, but the Cocheco Mills. This is really interesting. Our friend Leah Zieber, she did a quilt, and so apparently Cocheco had this really elaborate label that they put on stuff, and she hand inked a version of the label. And it is in the center. It's like it's like a medallion quilt she made and I can't remember if they were like Cocheco reproductions or what the fabrics were. I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll have to show it to you, and I'll have to ask Leah if we can show it publicly. But yeah, I had not heard of Cocheco Mills until I met her and saw her quilt, and then I learned about they did some really I think very involved kind of toile type stuff and really pretty stuff. So is this a map of the quilt?
Yep. Here's the map of everything. And then I couldn't get close-ups of a lot of stuff because of the way the quilt is hung, but I did get close-ups of some. This one is, your steps will never falter upon the path of life if you follow the beacon of friendship's light.
So that's a lighthouse, I'm guessing. Very cool. Yeah, and it does. I can see kind of that LA Sienkiewicz. I've never met her. I've never taken any of her classes. My mom had taken classes from her, and I have. I think I have all of her books now, including like one that was reissued in a different format. But yeah, she really. While we have friends that have done like the historical Baltimore album quilt, documentation and searching them out and all of the deep research. Elise Sienkiewicz, look, she took like the teacher's kind of path and deconstructed the quilts in such a way that she could teach this really detailed these really detailed techniques.
There's all kinds of
the person is quilted.
Yeah, and it's an island garden at the Isles of Shoals.
The Isles of Shoals.
Color swaying in the light. An island garden. I can't read I don't know what's right here. Something. The garden steeped in sunshine, a sea of exquisite? Something like that? What's so funny?
We always do this. We're trying to read stuff that's like it's the photography is not optimized for reading text. I'm not saying the photography's bad, but it's like you gotta mess around with the contrast usually to see text very well. But we do this all the time. We're like, what does that say?
I mean, yeah, because all I did, I was like looking at it. I'm like, oh, look, there's text. Oh, look, there's text. Oh, look, there's text.
Yeah, these are so intricate,
Like, look at this owl. This owl's like, I've been up all night.
Oh, is it a nest? Aw. And it looks like those butterflies might be broderie purse. And a little turtle. Aw. These are fantastic.
And then like this
some dimensional
really
stuff.
Three-dimensional.
Yeah, all this stuff is so inspiring to me.
What are these flower techniques called? It's called something.
Ruching.
And what about these ones?
I don't know. Those look like they might be. It's ribbon. It's like ribbon embroidery or ribbon applique.
No, it kind of just looks like it's just gathered.
It was a circle, to make it look like a little. They're like lilies of the valley, maybe. So yeah, it looks just like a little circles. But like, what great fabric they found to make the leaves out of. It's like very the patterns and stuff. Very neat.
I like the upper corner.
Yeah.
It's delightful. I kind of wish this one had ended up on the bed.
Yeah.
But this one did.
Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this one.
Oh my gosh. That is absolutely like crusty with stitches. Look at that.
Crusty with stitches.
It is. Look at it. Those stitches are so dense and so much. Wow. And this is such an interesting like setting, like to do those sort of quarter fans in the center, but to have those full. I wonder if this started off kind of a different way and then it sort of morphed into this. Yeah.
Yeah,
as
maybe.
They got that centerpiece. Because, I mean, you could see there is a centerpiece there. And then the fans are blocked all around it. Yeah, so maybe they didn't like the original setup that they... Very interesting.
So this one is Maker Unknown, collected in Massachusetts, Crazy Quilt, circa 1880, because what else could it be? Silk satin ribbons, chenille embroidery, hand-pieced and embroidered on foundation. The popularity of crazy quilts reached its peak in the mid-1880s, following the renewed interest in handwork and elaborate decoration in the period after the Civil War, and fueled by the silk fabric industry and ladies' magazines. Pre-printed patches, pre-embroidered motifs, and silk commemorative ribbons were made available for sale or as premiums for those without fine needlework skills, but not used in the case of this finely made crazy quilt. Elaborately embroidered and painted, crazy quilts were made as decorative pieces to exhibit one's skill at needlework, not use as bedding. Large pieces such as the one on display, it's funny because they displayed it on a bed, were placed over a white bed cover during the day and removed at bedtime. Smaller pieces were draped over pianos, used as table covers, or made into pillows. Crazy quilts are considered by some quilt historians to be the first art quilts.
That's interesting. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say that before, but
Hmm. Well, I guess because they were made purely for viewing,
yeah,
not
they weren't made
for.
for the bed. Yeah. Wow. Look at
Yeah, there's
that.
3D pieces. Like,
Oh my goodness, there's so much there. Yeah, look at that rose. Holy Moses. I mean, just the fan blades alone. I mean, it looks like there's some art. Those fabrics were probably already kind of fine, beautiful fabrics, or maybe even their ribbons that then they've stitched more and more and more on top. Wow. I know a lot of people don't like crazy quilts.
mhm.
I know museums and collectors. Well, museums, I feel like it's got to be in pristine condition before they'll consider it, and then it's almost like it's got to have kind of something special about it, even when it's in great condition.
Yeah, it's got to be in great condition and it's got to be unique for a
Hmm.
crazy quilt, I feel like.
Yeah.
But like this, yeah, this one, like this like chenille, like embroidery,
Hmm.
and then they've got like this really like ribbon embroidery, and then this really dainty ribbon embroidery. Like these look like real flower petals
They do. They
because
really
it's
do.
so dainty. And then here's that, what you call it, ruching. Like
Hmm.
that looks similar to kind of like what we were seeing in the last one. It's probably more ribbon embroidery, but it looks like that.
Yeah. Well, it's just they manipulate the way
This
they
fake
manipulate
flower.
the ribbons. Yeah, they kind of gather it up and tack bits up, in strategic areas to get that look. That wow. And
And then all
that's
this
really some
crazy stitching
interesting.
around it.
Yeah. So that stitching that's over on that side of the quilt. That, yes. It's
Those,
like they're tic-tac-toe like hash marks and then they're arrows.
it almost kind of looks like chicken scratch.
It does. It does. But yeah, look at all of those. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is why I like crazy quilts because yowza, look at the blades of that fan. I mean, I can't quite tell like what the stitching is and what it was the embellishment on the fabric. Um yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
they were
kind of
just like, how can I make this even more extra?
yeah. It almost reminds me. There are quilts like this. I don't want to say like super contemporary, but more into the 20th century, in France and um, maybe some in England too. But I feel like I've seen a bunch of things like this in France. They're not really crazy quilts, but they're in fact there's this one particular artist, and I am completely blanking on it. I can't even think of like where I would look to see this, but I feel like it's something you might be familiar with. And it's been quite a while since I've seen it, so I can't even think of where I saw it, but it was this kind of stuff, but it was more of a contemporary piece, and it was almost like petals. The quilt was made of petals. It just was so densely stitched, and with all of this fabric, it was so interesting to look at.
Hmm. I like these moons.
I
And then
know.
look, they're like, this
The
this
little fan.
this kind of fan isn't enough. We need another fan ring.
This fan needs some fans. Yeah, this is just so cool. I mean, like
And
some of
what's really like, you see here where it's starting to shred.
yeah, the
But
silk is.
what's interesting is that I'm actually surprised that because of the fabrics used to make crazy quilts and because of how much stitching, I'm surprised all of this isn't shredded by now.
In
just
this,
because of all the difference.
well, I mean, in this case, honestly, at least in those where you can see the silk is splitting, or it's just kind of that shredded, it's the stitches that are holding it together. You know? That the stitching is so dense that in the any place that the silk is failing, it's still keeping it in good condition.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my
So
gosh.
this one I took a picture because of the heavy damage, and like
Mm-hmm.
seeing how, like, what really stinks is well, this one also has very heavy damage.
Mm-hmm.
um I kind of like, I don't know, like, let me just put it out there that, like, I don't know at NEQM what the protocol is for conservation. Like, I don't know anything about any of that. um but I really kind of hope and wish and want, because there's, there's some heavy loss here, it looks like, altogether,
Mm-hmm.
that there would be some conservation done on this quilt, because it kind of looks
Yeah.
like at some point this whole flower piece is just literally, you're just gonna be able to pick
Pop
up the
pop
flower,
up off
like,
it.
ah,
Yeah.
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 um
And I mean, typically, I don't know what kind of conservation they do other than like crippling is that silky tulle that
mhm,
you can
mhm.
stitch over. Um, yeah, that the lower one. I mean, that silk is just it's like one part of the weave is completely gone. Like the weave is just disintegrated. It's all you have are these like threads that are held together with the embroidery.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is, so it's one of those things where, because of this area of heavy damage, um normally this wouldn't be a quilt they'd take in, but because this is so unique
Mm-hmm.
and so amazing,
Yeah, I'm also
it would.
thinking that's
Yeah.
why it's on the bed too because of the damage. It's probably not
Oh
safe
yeah, no,
to
they
hang it.
often, yeah, they're often not hanging them because they're so heavy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting.
Here's a good old blue and white.
I mean, speak of going from like more is more to like very calm, lots of white space. But holy cow, look at that! That quilting. Oh my gosh. I
Yeah, and
spoke
this
too
thing is in
soon.
near pristine condition. And even though the camera's not showing, like, these are blues. These are deep
Yeah,
blues.
I could see now that it's blue from a distance. It looked like it was black, but yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is more, but you don't know it until you're up close. This I would have guessed this is contemporary because that looks like it is perfect. Like,
And look at the border quilting.
my gosh.
Yeah. Like, look at this one. Like, I just love these, like, half circle things on the border. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Take it away.
Maker unknown. What? What a sad thing that whoever made this is. Okay, double square star variation, circa 1830. What? Okay, this quilt like time traveled or something. Cotton hand pieced, hand quilted stuffed work. Oh, so some of those pieces that was stuffed. Oh wow. Through much of the 19th century, blue and white was a favorite color combination, and almost every accomplished quilt maker made one during her career. Often, as in this case, she executed her fanciest quilting with elaborate stuffed work designs for her blue and white quilt. The motifs were stuffed from the back using a fine cotton roving, which is an unspun thread, to raise the surface of the floral designs. Indigo dyes, which yielded the richest blues, had been known since the 17th century as being inexpensive and durable, and indigo and white printed fabrics were featured in New England quilts from the 18th century on. There was a resurgence in their use after mid-century when many dyes proved unstable and brilliant red and green quilts, not 20 years old, would fade to brown. Gift of the Binney family. So this is another Binney quilt. I think this might be the third one we've seen. Um,
We've seen at least
okay.
two.
Yeah, this quilt is almost 200 years old. And I mean, seriously, it doesn't look like it has a shred of damage to it. It looks like it's never
Oh yeah,
seen
it's been well cared
it's
for.
never
That's
seen
for sure.
light or heat.
Like
It
even still, be careful when you're looking at it. Like don't look at it directly. You might burn it. Like
don't let your eyeballs, the steely glare of your eyeballs hurt this quilt. I mean, seriously, has this thing been wrapped in like angel wings or something for the past 200 years? I would never, I mean, just, yeah. I
no,
mean,
Stephanie, it hasn't been wrapped in angel wings. This is what angel wings are made out of.
apparently. No, I would have never guessed that this quilt was that old because of, I mean, it didn't look like there's any fading or damage or marks or anything on it. Um, wow. And those are lovely indigo prints.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what a shame to not know who made it. I mean, all of that effort. That's a lot of effort in a quilt, in the quilting. Wow. And I love the fact that they're all different. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
that central like sort of feathered wreath motif in the middle of the blocks, but everything else is all different flowers and
Yep, all
things.
the way right to the binding. Yep. This was probably my, aside from the applique summer spread, this is probably my
Yeah.
favorite one in the
Yeah,
in the room.
this is amazing. This is very
And guess what? I got to touch it.
That's the beautiful thing about either knowing people or getting to work in a museum is you do get to touch things.
Yeah. I
um,
got to handle it.
it's gorgeous.
And then here is what is on our table. And it's not weird. This side here is flipped over so you can see the quilting from the back.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, the
Is this
quilting,
one's pretty densely quilted as well, right?
yeah, the border here is just bananas.
Yeah, it looks like a really dense feathered garland, sort of.
And then again, the reason the photo's weird is this is the bed right here and the stanchion like the for the bed. So like sometimes taking photos is weird to get the whole thing.
You guys do cram a lot in that little nook, though.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So this is Maker Unknown Double Irish Chain circa 1840. Although I just out of the corner of my eye here, we'll see another picture, but the fabric in this border here is really pretty. Cotton hand pieced, appliqued and quilted. Historian Barbara Brackman defines an Irish chain pattern, well, as displaying an overall design of squares creating a secondary linked pattern across the quilt's surface. I would add that the majority of these quilts display an overall design on the diagonal. I would agree with that. The pattern requires two blocks, one piece of multiple patchwork squares in two or more colors, alternating with plain blocks that have patchwork squares appliqued onto its corners. We're gonna have to pay attention to that. The plain block is set so that those decorated corners help the diagonal pattern of the piece block to cross it. The donor of this quilt thinks her grandmother may have purchased it at auction and stated so when the quilt was examined and documented as part of the Massachusetts Quilt Documentation Project. So here's that border. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh, and that's interesting. It's almost like echo quilting, sort of in the around um, the feathered
Well,
garland.
so it's interesting is like I on this side I can clearly see this like boom boom.
Mm-hmm.
I I feel like some of it's not as prominent over here, and this quilting looks a little further apart, which makes me wonder, are we dealing with more than one hand?
Yeah, more than one quilter, yeah. Also,
Um,
I think that's a dog tooth. Those two strips are dog tooth. Those what they do, and I've seen a number of quilts in Pennsylvania that utilize that. What it is, it's a strip, and they measure, so it's even, and then they just clip it, and then they turn those two pieces to the back because you can see like that little bit that's still connected. There's no piecing there, and then also that's how they get that tight point, as they just fold those pieces under. It's almost like prairie points, but they're stitching it all down
mhm.
flat.
Hmm. I want to make sure to get this corner because, like, come on now. Like, I'm sorry to all the people that I'm making you feel like an underachiever in life compared to this person we are.
We are. Wow. Yeah, you can see.
I
I mean,
also like
yeah.
we'll see it more, but like these fabrics are fantastic too. I'm in love with this. I mean, this looks like a deep indigo-y type of blue again.
Hmm.
It's really I don't know that I've ever seen that fabric before. It's
Now,
really
what
pretty.
is the binding? Is the binding just a little?
It's just
I don't know
white.
if.
It looks maybe like it's back to front.
Hmm.
I don't remember because I did touch this quilt too. I don't remember, but I'm guessing it's either a by itself or it's a back to front. This is a pretty thin quilt.
Well, yeah. I mean, I to get that dense quilting, you'd have to have a pretty thin batting in there.
Okay.
Wow.
So I see what Laura's talking about this alternating block here that has
Hmm.
squares in the corner.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's
I actually I
lovely.
took a class in making an Irish chain one time, and there was this very distinct, like you pieced these units and then you separated your units and everything, like you'd piece, and then there was this very specific way that you kind of picked up your blocks and pieced together. um, and I completely do not remember that pattern anymore. So I'm like, I wonder if I could figure out how to finish that quilt. It's probably three-quarters done, three-quarters pieced.
Hmm. And then so see, here's the
Hmm.
back. So let's see if we can, I think it's back to front binding. Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there's no separate thing here.
And so it looks like, is it the blues are consistent, but it looks like there might be at least two different reds.
So it looks like on the applique blocks, it looks pretty consistent with this red. I'll go back to yeah, see here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, this one's not. This one has the one that's in the other blocks. But yeah, it looks like maybe it's just those two reds. This one and the one used more of, and the blue looks consistent throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So two reds and a blue, at least from what we can see from this photo.
Wow.
It's funny, from right here, this pattern looks like snails. Like it's not. It's a flower, but it totally looks like a snail.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does have
Oh,
a
and this is
yeah.
that like overprinting, the over dye thing, the print that we were looking at in the main quilt there, where they like pencil in the penciling.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Mhm. I've never seen this blue fabric in anything else, not that I can think of. But yeah.
Wow.
Yep, I got to touch this.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a stunner for sure. And also another one that's like pristine for being almost 200 years old.
Yeah, like where were people keeping these quilts?
I mean, the Binney family was obviously they were a collector.
Yeah, so they probably
So
had good.
this
But
is a
but I
very
mean,
contemporary.
how early did they, I mean, how early did they start collecting quilts, you know? I mean, just assuming it's in the 20th century. Those quilts are like probably 100 years old by the time they collected them, at least. So,
Yeah,
they
so like I
they
said,
were,
I don't know much about the history of the Binney family, but I could certainly ask Pam to
yeah.
share
Well, I mean, it
knowledge.
kind of almost irrelevant. They obviously kept their collection in good condition, but they also were able to source quilts that had been just
Hmm.
lovingly cared for. So this is
Hmm.
fun one. This is looks like another, you know, I mean, you said it's contemporary, so yeah, really fun album stuff.
Well, then tell us about it.
So this is Lorraine Dodge, York Harbor, Maine. Never again. I see where this is going. 1992. Cotton, hand appliqued, embroidered and quilted, machine assembled. Lorraine Dodge was a prolific quilt maker and a generous donor to the museum. She gave her collection of doll beds made by her husband. Oh. The quilt she made for them and other wall hangings. The title Never Again refers to her frustration at the detail work involved in this piece. I bet. The applique flowers are stuffed, folded, beaded, and embroidered. The artist used many different stitches and many methods of embellishment, including ruching, a technique of gathering strips of fabric to create lifelike three-dimensional blooms.
That's also a very interesting way to spell Lorraine. I've never seen
Oh
that kind of
yeah,
spelling before.
yeah, I haven't either.
Look at that. Look at that butterfly.
Ow.
How cute is that? You know, it's so funny. The fact that she entitled this Never Again, I'll have to take a picture of it, but it reminds me. So my mom in her quilting career made exactly one machine paper pieced project. And it's a small wall hanging that says like Home Sweet Home and has little houses on it. And she took a class to make that and she did finish it, but she hated every minute of it
And you know,
and was
those
like,
are almost the ones where you're like, I could cut my losses now, but I am so mad at this quilt and the techniques. I'm gonna finish it. Darn it!
yeah, like, yeah, they're like, I'm determined to let it win. Like,
I
that's
hate
actually,
this
it's so
quilt
funny.
so much it will not win. Yeah.
That's how I feel about my huge Bonnie Hunter Straits of Mackinac quilt. I don't hate the quilt at all. It's stunning. It's beautiful. Like, I love it. I hate the size of it. It's like 90 by 90, and it's by far the biggest thing I've ever made. And I had a bet, me and a bunch of girlfriends had bets that we would finish it. Only half of us did. And I was like, I'm gonna be a person, damn it. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
But
no, I definitely know that feeling. I'm surprised. This is actually like a brownish colored fabric with a black print on it.
but yeah,
Yeah,
it reads as
it
black
reads as black
when
from a
you're.
distance. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the
But yeah,
butterfly is
so you can
adorable.
see it's a little more, it's a blue and like a purple.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see that now.
Hmm. But yeah, lots of fussy, like she fussy cut, all of this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she stuffed these berries. I mean, I gotta give her props that she finished. This is a lot of work, even for people that like this kind of work. It's a
It.
lot.
Well, I love this kind of work. I mean, I would give anything to just sit all day, every single day, and do nothing but sew. And this kind of work feels daunting to me. Like, oh my god. I mean, I made one album style quilt a couple years ago for a invitational show, and I loved it, but it was a harrowing experience because I had designed it and mapped it all out before I really started working because I knew otherwise I was, if I just let the quilt take me where it wanted to go, I would never finish. And yeah, it gets to be a harrowing experience especially if you're working on a deadline.
Hmm.
And I feel like I ended up making some decisions to eliminate some of the detail that I had originally planned to
Hmm.
include just because
Hmm.
it just takes so much time. You think to yourself, oh, it's only, a dozen circles, or, it's only 10 flowers that you need to, and then you start thinking about, okay, 10 flowers, and then there's 10 petals in each flower. Well, that's 100 petals, and it's just like, ah. Um, I have heard a very prolific quilter. She makes a lot of album quilts, really intricate stuff. And she spoke for the Baltimore Applique Society, which I'm a member of. And she just talked about, she's like, look, here is how I do this. Here is how, she's like, I'm very regimented. I have a very, very strict schedule I stick to. And this is how I do it. And I was just like, wow, I
How, what is this strict schedule?
so
Like she sews for 5 hours a day or something? Or?
yes, she has like a strict schedule that she sits down and sews like a very specific, around her travels, and she does a lot of lecturing, and so there's that. But it's also how she kind of I don't know if the right term would be like, assembly line style, but she does this like, she draws it and then she traces and then she cuts everything out. And she uses little tiny pin dots of applique glue to stick everything down. So she's got literally everything, with maybe a few exceptions, on at the same time, overlapped and everything, because she uses a template. So she knows, like often I will put things down in applique and then layer the thing on top to, if it overlaps. But she has everything all laid out and she just stitches like a demon. And she said she does the exact same things I do. Like she listens to podcasts and watches TV and, while she works. And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I don't have the discipline. Maybe I just don't stitch as fast. But she was amazing that she did a lot of these types of quilts.
Mm-hmm. And then this is our last one, which is a bananas white work. Like bananas. I think I'd shown some pictures of this in another context, because I think Laura had this out for a New England Quilt Study Day thing, but you wouldn't have seen it like this because it would have been on a table, and you miss some things when
Right. Yeah.
when they're in different contexts. I need to think. Oh, there we go. So this is Maker Unknown, initials DC, found in Burlington, Vermont, whitework quilt, dated 1808. 1808.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Cotton stuffed and corded. Yeah, because I think if I remember correctly, we got to look at something from the back where we did have, as Pam calls it, an opportunity hole. And we might have seen the cording. I could, there is a chance I could be mistaking this for something else, but I think we saw. So white work, elaborately hand quilted, stuffed and corded, all white quilts were most popular in the federal period from the 1790s until about the time of the American Civil War, which was when, Steph?
1861 to 1865. 1860 something to 1860 something.
The European influence was evident in the arrangement of quilted motifs around a central medallion. The neoclassical urn, topped by a pineapple finial on a platform pedestal and surrounding floral sprays, have been used well to disguise the central seam of the fabric, necessitated by the narrow loom widths of the period. Neoclassical urns can be seen in many forms of decorative arts made in the United States during this period. Stuffed work, sometimes called trapunto, is a technique that achieves a dimensional effect by separating the threads of the loosely woven fabric on the back of the piece and adding bits of cotton stuffing. This quilt is notable for its early corded date. Maybe that was done in cording.
Yeah.
Initials and surviving, though mended, fringe. It does have this.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I thought it had a fringe.
Yeah, and this is also the Binney family. There's your fringe. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. Because that's like, I guess they use like a netting technique where, it's like a knot and then a knot and then a knot and then 8,000 more knots and then another 100,000 knots.
Yeah, what's interesting is this looks like it might be a knife edge because there's not a separate binding. Yeah, it's looking rather knife edge to me. And then they put the cording through, or the fringe, like
Hmm.
sewn through. Look at that. That is that's some work.
Wow.
I'm
Which
also
is,
surprised this one's not entitled Never Again.
I know, right? Oh gosh, and to be so old too, and still so very white. Not, I mean, you just you see things. I mean, quilt I've got right behind me. You know, it doesn't have a whole lot of white on it, but anywhere there's a lighter color, it's well because it's been used and laundered. But I mean, this is only about 70 years old, so um,
Yeah, this quilt is 217 years old.
yeah, and it doesn't appear to have any stains or discoloration. Wow.
Yeah, here's the DC right here, and here's the 1808, and here's the urn and the pineapple she's talking about.
And then there's
Um,
interesting scallops of feathers at the bottom.
mhm.
Wow. Okay, I see the DC and the 1808 now.
Mhm.
Wow. Now this is a person who either had a lot of time on her hands or she had a lot of people to help her.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too because, and again, I they don't know any of the provenance or where it came from. There's just DC and 1808. I'm wondering if, like, because it's all white, if maybe this was made to be like her wedding quilt.
Could be, yeah. Yeah. I mean, why?
Like maybe
I don't know. I mean,
1808 like the year she's gonna get married or
mm-hmm, maybe.
something like that.
I mean, I always look at these things of like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to celebrate something as momentous as a wedding. And I mean, I feel like these kind of things, like, you know, bride's quilt or at least wealthy people. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's got that, like, kind of, that's
Right?
very
It's
neoclassical.
mm-hmm.
I mean, this person had a very, or group of people had a very good understanding of neoclassical art, neoclassical design for that time
Well,
period.
and they had to plan this out. This wasn't
Hmm.
willy-nilly, like because of how all these
Yeah,
things
you
and
know,
all these
and this is
elements in
another
there.
one that you know, how, like, we know some of the techniques they use to mark things. You know, they used chalk and they pounced on, you know, pin dotted paper. Um, but I look at this and I'm like, how? I mean, how did this stuff get planned out? You know, I mean, was it giant full size pieces of paper? You know, and I mean, paper would have been at a premium at this time. You know,
Maybe they just drew on the wood floor in the house.
seriously, I just can't wrap my head around it. And I wish I could see, like, I wish I could go back in time and just like see something like this being made.
Be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
You would be the most annoying fly. You'd be like, let me get in there. Let me see. Like,
well, I think to myself, like, if somebody said, okay, you know, give me the steps for making this quilt as you would make it today, I'm like, oh God, you know, I mean, I would probably, well, I mean, there's the technique of making like a full size piece of paper, you know, tape together a bunch of paper to make a big full size piece of paper and then like plot it out that way. I personally would like lay all over some modern technology and I would design it on a computer and I would project that on the full cloth, hanging on a wall, and then use, you know, chalk pencil or very light pencil to draw it all out. And I mean, that would be very time consuming. You know, I
mhm,
mean, there's a lot of work on that, even using,
mhm.
you know, what I would say is a modern convenience. So
I can only just see how long it took them to stuff all this stuff.
yeah, you have to be very delicate. I have taken a a cord quilting. It's the type of corded quilting that they did in France and Provence. I did take a
Hmm.
class on how to do that, and also there's a Korean quilting technique that's similar, but you're putting the cording in there as you quilt, whereas in the French technique you put the cording in afterwards. But you have to be very careful because it is easy to rip out your stitches if you're being too rough with the fabric on the back, the back. And even though it's supposed to be a looser weave, you still have to be careful, making that hole and stuffing anything in it, because you can tear the fabric or tear threads. So and it's just time consuming. Yeah, amazing.
Oh, and then I did just grab a quick
look around the little nook.
Look around the room. Yeah, just so you get an idea of where everything is in relation to each other.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Very cool. Well, that was a pretty exciting
And now
exhibit.
That's all she wrote, folks.
Yeah, that was a pretty exciting exhibit. Thank you for getting pictures of that. I had forgotten. I know you mentioned it, but I feel like there was a whole bunch of other things going on, so you didn't tell me much about that exhibit. So that was a really great one.
Yeah, well, and then now there's a new one up. So, there's always, and I like it because I mean, even now we've gone over our usual hour. That's in comparison to how big the other galleries are. That gallery is pretty small. So one thing I like about it is, one, because they're collection pieces, I take pictures of everything. And two, like, because it's small, we can spend a little more time really like discussing.
Yeah, what was that, like 10 quilts?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. And I feel that that's usually about what she puts in there. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, there's only 12. Yeah.
Only 12. But she did.
I know, but when
we could talk about one quilt for an hour. So I think
it really, something, it really kind of puts some stuff into perspective, because a lot of, like, right now, one of the shows that's up is Quilts Japan. That's a big show, and it really, we get really ambitious sometimes and if it's traveling, I don't take pictures of everything, so that if you guys can have the chance to go see it, you want to. But it really kind of goes to show you that we should probably be doing a lot of those exhibits in more than one stream, so that we can look at them a little closer instead of trying to get through 20 quilts, fast. So.
Yep. Well, I guess I'm having fun in England right now, and you are rubbing your hands together for the present I'm going to bring you back. I don't know.
I will accept more than one.
Okay.
There are 2 of you traveling.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well,
everybody.
See you soon.
Bye.